Hi everyone. So today I'm also visiting Lawrence. He's a resident of Brackenhurst as well. So now Lawrence, tonight, obviously later on tonight, the petrol price is going up. 3 rand is going up. Now, please tell us the expenses that you think you'll be incurring and what does it mean for you?
It's the actual fact, the rise of petrol price is actually going to impact a number of other things. Like, for instance, I've got a little container that I'm towing to the other side of the town. I'm selling food there, and it's going to be difficult now to pass the expenses of that petrol now to the customers, because I've got to raise the price of food. I've got to raise actually the petrol to fill my car and all that. It's unbearable and expensive now. It's going to impact badly on
now, Lawrence, do you only have the one car that you have to fill, or do you have several?
I've got actually 2 cars. One is actually helping my daughter to take my daughter to school and back. So I've got this. The other one is a buggy, which is a big car, and it's costly. It's costly. Now tonight, as the petrol is going to go up, then I've got to fill both cars. You're talking just almost about in the region of about 3,000 already now.
Okay. So now, as you're saying, I was about to say, even though the other car is just transporting the child to school, it doesn't run on water.
No, it's run on petrol. Yeah. It's actually my wife as well, using the same car to go to work and all that. It's really unbearable. It's going to be killing us. It's going to be difficult.
We're talking about the petrol price because it impacts everything. It impacts the cost of living, especially when you drive around. It also impacts your budget. Like when you look at everything is going up. And of course, unfortunately, from a council point of view, you're also incurring more increases coming in effect in July. Now, things like petrol should not be costing us that much. We can ease the petrol price by like making sure that we restrict the fuel levy, and that's one of the proposal by the DA. So that's one of the proposals that the DA has put in Parliament, has put on the table. As a councillor of these areas, I can tell you, for men and women like Lawrence, it will not be sustainable. Not only for their case, like where the people that he's selling food to, suddenly they might not be able to buy as much, and that also affects his business. I mean, he's a small business. He's not a big corporate which can afford to have so many customers. He has to look after those few customers. As a councillor, I'm saying it is time that government starts making decisions that benefit people like Lawrence, who's trying to help his family. As you've heard, he's got 2 cars, and it's going to be more costly. So let's go online, sign the petition, and say let's slash the fuel prices because all of us are going to suffer. Thank you very much.
Why is government using fuel levies to raise money and extract money out of citizens when other countries in the sub-Saharan region and in Africa do not do that? Fuel is up to 5 rand cheaper in neighboring countries than it is in South Africa because their governments are not extractive in that. We are continuously, as consumers and citizens, being told to cut our cloth accordingly. And that every time we have to tighten our belts, every time there's a petrol price increase, we are asked to bear the pain. We're asked to be the ones that have to suffer as citizens. When is it time for government to tighten its belt? When is it time for the president to cut his cloth accordingly? The size of the civil service is something the president has promised to deal with for many, many years, but has yet to even start to grasp the nettle on. We spend a huge amount of our GDP on a bloated, oversized cabinet that has been stuffed full of cadres through almost 2 decades of cadre deployment. We have a Home Affairs Department that cannot issue passports and birth certificates and treats our citizens in an inhumane way. We have a motor vehicle licensing and driver's license issuing authority that cannot issue driver's licenses. We have hospitals that don't heal the sick. We have an arms manufacturing company that doesn't manufacture arms. We have an airline that doesn't fly. And we have an electricity regulator, generator and supplier that doesn't generate, regulate or supply electricity. All of these are because we have a bloated, inefficient and ineffective state. Then we also have 50 million rand going off to Cuba. And as you would have seen from parliamentary questions that I've put in, that amount of money that's gone to Cuba has actually been far more over the last few years. Why are we sending money to Cuba when our own citizens are starving to death around the country? Why are we sending money to Cuba when our own fuel prices are skyrocketing and our own citizens are suffering? And so I don't buy the argument that it's up to citizens to now try and make up the shortfall. Government must now cut its cloth accordingly. It has squeezed the living daylights out of consumers, taxpayers, and ordinary citizens for almost 2 decades now. It's time for government to tighten its own belt. It's time for government to start cutting its cloth accordingly. And it's time for the citizens to start getting a bit of relief.